How do you feel about him, allegedly throwing up Crip multiple times?
I don't 6-0, run it in. You know what's up. He ain't the gangland like that. You throwing them ends up, that's gonna cost you. You ain't never been to the 60s. You keep throwing up ends and all that shit when you in throwing up C's and all that. You ain't even from this shit. You ain't even from this shit, no way, shape, or form.
More trouble for NBA star Ja Morant. He's been suspended again after a video online shows him holding a gun.
Have you been enjoying the NBA season? If you have, you're not alone. There have been many surprises within the season, and as we head to the conference finals for both sides of the playoffs, things are likely going to get even more shocking. But despite the highs the league is facing right now, there is one subject and one player that continues to bring things down. We talk, of course, about Ja Morant, who has once again gotten himself in trouble, and the NBA is not happy about it.
We spoke for a long time about not just the consequences that could have on his career, but the safety issues around it. Could have injured, maimed, killed himself, someone else.
The gun. There's lots going on here, so let's start with the latest incident and work our way from there. The Memphis Grizzlies have suspended Ja Morant from all team activities after a video showing the star guard holding a gun began circulating on social media Saturday night. The Grizzlies announced the suspension, which is pending a league review, in a statement Sunday. Plus, as you likely recall, this isn't the first time that Morant has had an incident with a gun, and as you can guess, the NBA wasn't too happy about things.
Honestly, I was shocked when I saw this weekend that video. Now, we're in the process of investigating it. I'm assuming the worst, but we'll figure out.
Even if they didn't state it outright. We're aware of the social media post involving Ja Morant and are in the process of gathering more information, NBA spokesperson Mike Bass said on Sunday. This all got caught during an Instagram live session on Morant's friend Devontae Pack's account. The All-Star flashed a handgun while driving and singing along with a rap song. While the video was eventually taken off the account, the damage had been done in more ways than one. The previous issue with Morant happened in March after a video showed him holding a gun while intoxicated at a Denver club when the Grizzlies were in town to play the Nuggets. He was eventually suspended 8 games after meeting with NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, who called Morant's conduct irresponsible, reckless, and potentially very dangerous. Another reason this incident is so shocking is that Morant seemed repentant in an interview we'll talk about later, and yet here we are again with the same bad decisions he promised not to make again. Plus, this still isn't the only thing that he's been doing this past season that's gotten him in trouble. For example, he is being sued by a high school prospect after a fight during a pickup game in Morant's backyard, where Morant and Pack are alleged to have punched the boy in the head. The teenager told police that Morant entered his house after the fight and came back outside with a gun in his waistband. Pack was banned from attending games at Memphis's FedEx Forum after a post-game confrontation with the Pacers' traveling party. Pack was escorted out of his courtside seat after stepping onto the floor during the game to confront Pacers players. After the game, following an argument between Morant's associates and members of the Pacers traveling party in the arena's loading dock area, a red laser was pointed from an SUV in which Morant was riding. An NBA investigation happened, but no major action was taken due to lack of evidence. In the wake of the Grizzlies' first-round playoff elimination, Morant said he needed more discipline. "I've just got to get better with my decision-making," he said after a 125-85 loss to the Lakers on April 28th. "That's pretty much it. Off-the-court issues affected us as an organization, pretty much just need more discipline." Further adding to the consequences of his actions, not only has Morant lost out on millions due to missing certain perks he would have received if he had gotten certain honors, some of his sponsors have dropped him as well once the March incident happened, and we'd be shocked if it didn't happen again with this incident. Fool me once, right? The playoffs should have been a focus for Morant, as Memphis secured the number 2 seed in the Western Conference, but that didn't help as much as he was not only bounced from the first round against the Lakers, but he himself was injured during that series. This is a major disappointment on the sports side of things, because many felt that the Memphis Grizzlies could have been serious contenders for the title, and now, not long after that ended, Morant got in trouble again. And obviously, this isn't about basketball, not this time, or at least it shouldn't be. It's about someone who struggled twice in the same year with gun issues and continues to put himself in bad situations that a certain someone said he was not condoning and would try to change to prevent that from happening again. Guess it didn't stick. The interview. We talked a little about the interview earlier that Ja Morant did to try and smooth things over, but what exactly did he actually say? Well, it's not who I am. I don't condone any type of violence, but I've taken responsibility for my actions, the embattled Grizzlies star told NBA analyst Jalen Rose on ESPN's NBA Countdown after the incident occurred. I put myself in a bad position, he said. Morant claimed the gun he brandished didn't belong to him, but he admitted it was foolish to grab the weapon for the world to see, which is a very obvious statement, but one he made regardless. Morant apparently apologized to his teammates and family for putting that negativity toward all of us with a known bad decision. I'm gonna show everyone who Ja really is, what I'm about, and change this narrative that nobody got painted over me, he promised. I realized I have a lot of kids who looked up to me, even some adults, a lot of fans, and I realized my past mistakes isn't being a good role model. So, just gotta get better in that area, be more responsible, be smarter, and make better decisions. The guard told Rose he spent 11 days talking with therapists and trying to learn from his mistakes. I feel mentally good, Morant said. I was constantly talking to therapists. I'm doing anxiety breathing, different stuff to help me manage that and release all that stuff from my body. Rose did well in the interview to try and get the truth while also not berating him, even reflecting in his own time in the league to help make a connection. Rose said Morant was likely caught up with the spoils of fame, but reminded the four-season player he's not only risking the rest of his career, but his life. He has way too much to lose, Rose said on ESPN's NBA Countdown at the time. Trust me, I've been that young player carrying a gun. When you start waving it, that can get you killed. That's an entirely different thing. Then we're talking about a superstar athlete that shouldn't be putting themselves in that position. While it was nice to see the interview go like it did, and people seemingly forgave Morant for what he did, it's clear that the message didn't stick. He intentionally put himself in a position to be near a gun, and then waved it around again. So despite the fact that he doesn't condone violence, or didn't want to be in a position with a gun again, he went back to his old habits pretty quickly. The social media aspect of things only makes it worse as Morant proved that he doesn't care if he's caught on camera with a gun, or that he's not observant and felt it was fine waving the gun around and not fearing who or what might be filming him in that moment. Even if you're a fan of Morant, which many people are, you have to wonder how he could fall into the same trap twice, and the simple answer is immaturity. Is it wrong to call Ja Morant immature? Not in this case, no. Again, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And in the immaturity department, Ja Morant should feel lots of shame, especially given he's feeling the effect of the choices he made over the last several years. And this goes beyond the NBA, because while he's only been in the NBA for 4 seasons, he was in college for 2. He went to Murray State and proved that you don't have to go to a big name school to make a big impact. But as many have noted about numerous players across major sports, the ability for college students and sometimes even high school students to go right from the lower leagues to the big leagues where they can be flooded with money if they're drafted high enough can cause issues. The biggest one is that the lessons they can learn in college either aren't a focus or aren't taught to them because they're not there for that long. 2 years can teach you things, but it's not 4 years. And yes, it's fair to think that even those who go all 4 years won't be mature enough for the league, but that's also something that's harder to show when you see plenty of one and dones do stupid things right off the bat or once they're raking in the money. He's not the first to have made this foolish leap, and he won't be the last. The second problem was who Morant chose to align himself with in regard to his posse. They are trouble, and we're not just talking about Mac. There are multiple people that Morant should have dumped after the first incident, but he didn't for one reason or another, and look where that's landed him. What will Morant's fate be? The fate of Ja Morant is very much TBD, and that just means that the hammer will come down in a bigger way, as the NBA will want to make a proportional response to this. Suspension is the most likely thing, but since the Grizzlies are out of the playoffs, they'll have to enforce it next season. Is that the right way to handle it? It depends on who you ask. The big questions here are who the gun belongs to, whether Morant had anyone in serious danger by having it out like he did, and whether there was a certain amount of illegal activity going on. Because no matter the immaturity level of Morant, it's stupid to do the same thing over and over again and get caught. That's exactly what he did, and now he'll pay the price. That's especially problematic for the league, because they've been pushing Morant, among others, as the new faces of the league, given that many of their biggest stars are slowly aging out and are likely to retire soon. Given the season that Morant had last year, he was easily seasoned as one of the future legends of the game. However, now he's going to have a stigma put against him, one that features firearms and hurting others with his posse. That's something that's hard to shake, and the NBA is going to want to distance themselves from Morant until they can be sure that he's gotten out of this phase. But no matter how you look at it, that's a bad look for Morant, the league, and everything in between. This is someone who should be inspiring people given how he went from a no-name college player to someone who's dominating the league. But now, he's slowly becoming a cautionary tale of what happens when someone so young is given bad advice, too much money, and surrounds himself with bad influences. Let's just hope that things don't escalate beyond what they already are. And there you have it, everyone. A look at the situation that Ja Morant once again finds himself in and how the NBA is likely to handle it. Are you stunned that Ja Morant would do something like this so soon after his last incident? Do you think that there's going to be more consequences for Morant this time around? Or will the NBA try and let it slide with another slap on the wrist? Let us know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.